Hello everyone, welcome to our virtual presentation. I'm Ozlem, a second-year PhD student in culture studies. I'll briefly introduce our team, CataMappers, and our PhD-Community initiative project. And then my teammates will present the different aspects of our adventure. We have partnered with the Cataraqui Conservation Foundation, or CCF as we call them. Floyd Redmond was our community partner liaison, and Sandra Olney, our wonderful mentor, supervised our project. We were tasked with finding a way for the CCF to increase their individual donations they receive from Kingstonians and the residents of nearby towns. Initially, we were pointed in the direction of mapping out high-income areas for Kingston. But then we also saw the opportunity and the need to determine who exactly is donating, or at least is interested in donating to the CCF. Mark will review our literature findings, so findings from the literature, and discuss the results of our mapping exercise. After that, Liz will evaluate the results of our survey, and finally, Josh will interpret the findings and dwell on the limitations of our work. But first, I'll tell you a little more about how we came together. We established a strong working relationship and formulated our mission statement during our first formal meeting. As you can see on our slide, our team prioritizes inclusion, flexibility, and passion to learn from one another. Our shared appreciation for natural resources or natural areas, as well as our desire to give back to the community, brought us together. During our initial meetings, we created subgroups to work on different aspects of the project. So we created mappers and also survey creators or survey developers. We also organized informal gatherings to cement our relationship. For example, we had a game night at the grad club. We watched Fairside together, and we had a pizza night at our mentor's home. And now I'm passing the microphone to Mark.
Thank you, Ozlem. So for our literature review, we took a three-pronged approach. First, we investigated why do people donate. Then we explored the motivations behind specific giving decisions. And finally, we looked into how does one influence people to donate. Our findings here illustrate that giving behavior is highly variable and the specific motivations are equally as varied. Most important is specificity, both for a cause and for the individual donating. Donations are made when the cause resonates sufficiently with the values and principles of an individual. The gap that our research would like to address in regards to donations is contextualizing donation behavior and the potential donor within a framework of income, as those with more income may be more likely to donate. Moving on to mapping, you can see on the screen, this is one of the maps that we created. It shows the dissemination areas in the Frontenac County region. A dissemination area is a boundary that is used by Statistics Canada to collect and display information. This data is publicly available via Statistics Canada, and its source is the 2016 census. So on this map, we see neighborhoods identified and color-coded based on their income. So the red correlates with the households making over $100,000 a year in combined income. Now the highest income neighborhoods we identified for Kingston are Greenwood Park, Cataraqui North, Cataraqui Westbrook North and Northwest, and Cataraqui Westbrook South. And to further these findings and to create a useful data product for the CCF, we created maps for each of these neighborhoods overlaid with the road network and the road names. So these individual neighborhood maps can be used by the CCF to shape their outreach and fundraising efforts.
We believe that the results of our mapping would be best contextualized by assessing the characteristics of people who have donated or are interested in donating to the CCF. To do this, working with our community partner and with the Society for Graduate Studies in an iterative process, we developed a survey. The survey we created was quick to complete. It was 12 questions long and was done online. Using the social media platforms of the CCF and the Cataraqui Region Conservation Authority, we ran our survey from February 11th to March 17th, 2020, and accrued 46 complete responses. As an incentive to increase the number of respondents, we also offered a $3 donation to the CCF for each of the first 100 responses. The questions we asked, a sample of which can be seen on this slide, inquired about CCF donation history and likelihood for future donation, reasons for interest in donating, and demographic questions about age, income, education, and occupation. Results from our survey indicated that about 2/3 of people interested in the CCF do not feel compelled to donate. We also found that about 1 in 5 respondents had donated to the CCF before, and that there does not appear to be concern over losing support of those who have donated in the past. So a key finding here is that more work is needed to communicate and raise awareness about the potential community benefits of donating to the CCF.
Given the importance of income in our mapping exercise, we felt that it was important to explore the reported income of those who are interested in the CCF. The findings from our survey regarding income indicate that our initial decision to map high-income areas was justified, as high-income earners appear to be the most likely to give and showed the most interest in the CCF, as we can see in these 2 pie charts. Perhaps this is due to high-income earners having more expendable income. However, our study was not without limitations, and ultimately there was one primary limitation to the usefulness of our results. Only 10 of our respondents had donated. Our hope was to complete a linear regression with the results of our survey, but with only 10 respondents indicating that they were donors, we believe that the results would not have been robust enough. For future directions, we have an indication from our survey as to what will help encourage future donations from the public. Our results show that community building around the CCF and the CRCA, awareness of the need for donations, and being specific and transparent about where this money goes are important to individuals as they consider whether or not to donate. Finally, just to wrap up the findings of the entirety of our study, the majority of CCF donors were in the 10K category, or sorry, excuse me, 100K and over category for income. There was an opportunity to continue to raise awareness to the CCF donor base and to in fact increase the CCF donor base. And finally, we did map areas of high income potential, potential donors for the CCF. Lastly, we'd just like to say thank you to everyone who was involved in the project, to Kavan and Qian who could be here today to do this recording for the final presentation, to Sandra, our mentor, to Floyd, who was our community partner contact, and to Heather Merla and Betsy Donald, and everyone else involved through this process. Thank you, and we had a blast.